So recently I watched Frozen 2 from last year and Onward from this year, which are Disney and Pixar's latest animated movies. And you know what? I thought they were both fine, which is kind of disappointing when it comes to these companies, to be honest, especially Pixar. Like, when it comes to Pixar, it's like, what do you think of? You think classics. You think Finding Nemo, you think Toy Story, you think, if we're going for a more modern one, we're thinking Inside Out. But now that I think about it, like, in the last couple of years, what have they really made? I mean, in 2017 there was Moana, which was good. Wait, Moana came out in 2016, then there was Coco in 2017. I think both of those are okay, but kind of overrated. There was Incredibles 2, which, yeah, again, it was fairly good, but it's like, yeah, but that's like a sequel to a thing that was already established, and like, there wasn't a whole lot of original work to be made in there. Like, of course, the animation is amazing, the story is like pretty good, I guess, it's alright, but you know, they didn't have to create the characters from scratch or anything, so I'm not really talking about that. Same goes for Toy Story 4, even though I do think that that was quite a masterpiece. But like, beyond that, the last great one, in my opinion, is Inside Out. And then it's like, what's going on with Pixar nowadays? Okay, so Soul looks like it has potential. That's a movie that's coming out later this year, I think, if it actually decides to, or if it comes to Disney Plus, cool. Has potential, but like, I'm not, you know, who's to say? I'm not, like, it's kind of vague at the moment. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to turn out. But when it comes to Onward, it's like, this is like Dreamworks level stuff. Or, even worse, dare I say, Illumination level stuff. Because if you're going down the animated movie tier, it's Pixar on top, Dreamworks, and then Illumination. We all know it. Come on, let's be honest. Dreamworks is good, fairly good. They make some pretty great stuff like Shrek and How to Train Your Dragon, and then some not as great stuff. Like, Dreamworks is the most mediocre one. It's just the middle okay one. It's pretty good, but whatever. And then Illumination is like, bleh, get out of here. No, they're not that bad. I kind of like some of them, but almost every Illumination movie kind of just ends up disappointing me. I'm like, Life of Pets, we're going to explore like the lives of pets. You know, when we don't see them and stuff. That's a creative idea. That could be really cute and stuff. And then they go on this dumb, stupid, soulless adventure that I don't care about. The Grinch that came out in 2018. That looked like it was kind of okay. And it was. It was kind of okay. I liked it. But is it on the level of Pixar? Fuck no. That's basically what I'm saying. Long-winded way to explain that Pixar's on top. Top dog. Pixar's the best and we all know it. But like, just animation in general, like, I feel like has been kind of weak in the last few years. The last one that I truly, like, spectacularly loved just after Inside Out was 2016 Zootopia, or Zootropolis, which apparently it's called on Disney Plus now. I thought that was what they called it in England, but apparently that's what it's called on the Australian Disney Plus as well. I'm like, ew, Zootropolis, it's Zootopia. But whatever you call it, that's the right one, okay? I absolutely love that movie. I think it is amazing. I think it has a lot to say. I think it's very mature for the kind of movie that it is, you know, like a lot of Pixar movies are. Although, Zootopia is not Pixar. Zootopia is just Disney. And with that being said, I want to see more movies from the just Disney without Pixar company. I don't know what that's called, like Disney Animations or whatever, because that was 2010's Tangled, 2012's Wreck-It Ralph, and then Frozen, which, yeah, is okay, but you know, it's Frozen, it's kind of overrated and annoying. But in that being said, I did watch Frozen 2 just the other day, and it was like okay, but it was like whatever. And the thing for me is that I've discovered while watching these kinds of movies, the thing that I figured out that I don't like quite as much is the big soulless adventure shit. I don't like the going on this big epic journey thing. I don't feel like it's always necessary in these types of movies, but I feel like they're mostly usually always there. The thing that I really love about Inside Out was that it does feel like a big adventure, but it's just kind of in the context of this one girl. We can kind of see from the outside that it's just a girl who's sad that she has moved away from her friends and who doesn't fit in and all this kind of stuff. It's this beautiful, personal, kind of tragic tale, and that's something that I think Pixar in particular, but Disney and animated movies in general, can excel at and do often excel at. But then there's shit like Trolls, and that's basically what I'm talking about. And I thought of this when I was watching Frozen 2, because the introduction to Frozen 2, you're kind of like, you're catching up with the characters that you liked from the first one, and it's like, oh, this is fun. There's just like cute characters going around. I like spending time with these characters. But then, of course, it becomes this just slog of like, Elsa starts hearing this voice and they have to go hear this voice and then they go through this misty thing and then it turns into a big adventure and everything's about powers and it feels less personal. And that for me was exactly the same story with Onward as well, where it was like this personal story about these brothers who have lost their father, who are sad about that and who have the hope to bring him back for just a day, which like as a premise is good, it works, but in its execution, well, it has these little pixie things that ride around on motorbikes and it just becomes this big road trip thing, which I get that this is an animated movie, I get that it's mostly aimed for kids, and I get that the fun adventure stuff is appealing. But then I look at Zootopia and that does also have kind of an adventurous theme to it. They go to a lot of different places together and they investigate this stuff. But really what that movie is about is corruption, racism, etc. It's got deeper stuff going on where I feel like Onward kind of did at the start, but starts to forget about halfway through its runtime. And this is kind of how I've been feeling about animation lately. It's like, I haven't even seen a lot of the animated movies that have come out in the recent years, whereas beforehand, I definitely would have done so. Like, for instance, I probably would have seen Abominable, that's a fucking hard word to say, I feel like a child right now. Abominable! That's not how you say it. You know what I'm talking about. The Snowman movie, Yeti thing. That came out like last year or the year before. That would have been a movie that I definitely would have seen in 2016, which was the year that I would go see literally everything. But when it came out, I did not bother. What else was there? There was just kind of a ton of shit that's come out recently that it doesn't appeal to adults like it does kids. Like, I feel like with a Pixar movie, you're pretty safe. You know, even at their very worst, even when it comes to the Cars franchise, it's like, at least there's some stuff to appreciate here, except for maybe the sequels. But the first Cars, it's like, yeah, I mean, this is a weak movie for a Pixar movie, but it's okay. But in comparison, I wasn't touching the Addams Family. I wasn't touching Spies in Disguise. I wasn't going anywhere near that fucking Trolls sequel. It's just not a thing that appeals to me in any way. And these movies aren't exactly made for me. I understand that. I'm cool with that. I understand that the main thing is to appeal to kids, especially when it comes to these companies, because they need to make cash dollars, yo. But where's the heart? Where's the soul? I miss it. Ironically, I hope Soul has the soul. And I have hope for that. I think that it does look like it definitely has a lot of potential. I don't really care about the musical aspect to it. I feel like maybe it's the music. Maybe I don't care about the music. Like Moana, Coco, very music focused. Soul looks very music focused. I don't really care about that stuff. My favorite ones are Monsters Inc. and Zootopia, which I've already said, but they're not as music focused. They have very recognizable themes as well, especially Monsters Inc. I can bring that off in my head any day, you know? Anyway, I guess the point is maybe I'm just growing up. I hope not though. I hope Pixar gets their shit together again. I don't know. I know this was kind of rambly. I don't know what my entire point was. I just kind of wanted to talk about animated movies for a little bit, and so here we are. That's what I have done. That's what you have watched. That's what you have hopefully enjoyed. And if you have, do the things. Like, comment, share, subscribe.